almost not ready
Now we
to
got
talk.
sound. I bet we're rolling on sound. Let's go back and look. Are we rolling on sound? How we doing on sound? Oh, wait. I can go to YouTube now. Here we go. No. Here we go. Do we have sound? Can you go to your phone? Go to our thing. See if we have sound.
Well, I mean, are we live?
We are live.
Oh, well, shit.
There we go.
Okay, well.
All right, dude.
Where do you go? Like, I don't see anything live right now. You go to live and it's not.
So I guess we're not live. Are we streaming? No, according
It
to
says
this,
we're live.
Huh.
Oh, well. I don't know.
Well, what's going on here? According to this, we have excellent connection and we're live.
Alright, well, let's just run with it until we see otherwise, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, this is, it's kind of weird, though. Huh. Oh, well. Anywho, what's up, man?
I don't know much. Let's
How was
wait
your
and
week?
see if Christy shows up here for a couple minutes while we fuck around with this. Okay. According to this, we're in excellent condition. And we've been live for 3 minutes.
Well, then we have to run with it. We can't just pretend like we're not live, I guess. I don't know.
There seems to be a lag.
Yeah. Huge lag. Huge lag.
Can anybody hear me? Hey, Joni. Here we go. Yeah.
We good? Let's run. Then we just gotta lag in the.
All right. Let me just do one thing, and we are. All right. Let me see if it sounds better. I'm an asshole. I didn't need you.
Okay. See you then.
All right.
Well, let's run with it. I mean,
Hang on. One more sound check.
check, 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 motherfucker. Can you hear me clearly?
I said, can you hear me?
I said, can you hear me clearly? I said, can you hear me?
We gotta
I
speak
think
up,
so.
but there we go. Okay, sound check is qualified.
And we kind of sound like we're in a tunnel. So
Well,
we might
you
need
know
to
what? We're moving
soundproof
on
this room
up.
here in a minute.
We're not so much moving up as moving at a real nice diagonal.
Yeah. It's a slow up, but it's up.
It's
Up is up.
Up is
I mean,
up.
shit.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Absolutely.
I learned some new shit this week. Excuse my French. Okay, so.
Monday, January 10th.
Oh, it's the end of the world as we know it. Shut door shut. Sorry about all the commotion in the beginning. Like I said, we're learning how to use this stuff.
This new highfalutin technology we got going on here.
Highfalutin. There is a lag, so
It's probably only to us though. People
Christy, if
watching
y'all
live,
show up. Yeah.
they don't really see the lag because they just see the video.
All right. So, where do you want to start this week, man?
Oh shit! Start wherever you want, dude. Start with how your fucking week's been, and we don't have to dive right into shit.
Dude, my days kind of bleed together. To be
Well, yeah,
honest.
but you know, at least they're fucking 8-hour days.
That's true.
Your previous job was like 12 or 14. You know what I'm saying? This job's got to be like cake to you. You're like, shit, 8?
8?
Like, I can do 8.
8? 8 with breaks? With breaks?
2 of them, 3 of them.
3 and a lunch? Dude, I was in the kitchen for 25 years. You know, the first time I got a job and they told me to go take a break, I just stared at them. I was like, I felt like Red in the grocery store. Can I go to the bathroom, boss?
Right. Like, you don't have to ask.
You don't have to ask. What do you mean?
Say what?
I can't squeeze a drop without the boss man saying so.
It's amazing how times change, you know?
Yes.
Now I've gotten to the point where if I can have it, if I can make it happen, I always want to poop on company time now.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Brandon Phillips taught us 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That's 40.
That's like,
That's a week's pay.
nah, it's more than that, I think. I think it's like 2 weeks. Boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I shit on company time. You know? If I can fucking,
Dude, I tell you, the bathrooms are busy. We're all.
I bet. Y'all don't have employee bathrooms?
Yeah, we have
I
employee
was gonna say,
bathrooms.
what the fuck? But you got 1,000 employees.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like there's 2 bathrooms, 200 people.
So, dude, I fucking went and followed like a whole bunch of weird motherfuckers on Twitter this week just to see if I can recreate the Facebook toxicity. And it appears that I can because everybody on Facebook has a social media operator. None of these motherfuckers operate their own social media account. All the politicians, all the people that you follow. So you're not really getting your point across with anybody that you follow unless it's someone individual like me or you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like these fucking, I mean, just the way some of these politicians handle or hire and maintain their social media accounts is absolutely hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Schiff actually posted on Twitter this morning about how someone lying to Congress was a felony. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
It is. If
Of
they are
course
under
it is, but Adam Schiff lied to the American people.
oath. Over and over and
Dude,
over.
it's not. I mean, why is it against the law for us to lie to them, but not for them to us? That's some shit that I don't get. But I guess it is what it is. But that just goes to show how far out of touch these politicians and the people that run their social media accounts are.
Oh yeah.
It just really cracks me up.
They were talking. Was it Johnson? You know, the guy that was running for
Ron Johnson?
the guy that was running for Speaker against McCarthy. Johnson?
No, Scalise was the only one that I remember.
No, the
was-
Democrat side.
Oh, that's like Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Yeah, Jeffries was going on about the rule changes and literally like the reply from the reply from the other side was, no, literally, he's just used to having total power. And he does not like the sound of the power going back to the house and away from the top of the house. Like he said, Newsmax said it's like showing up in Cuba and telling the government all of a sudden they're going to be a democracy again.
Damn.
Yeah, that's hard.
Damn.
That's hard, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, since we're already on this subject, you know, we might as well transition into it. You can't have a podcast like ours and not go ahead and bring up the whole conversation with the House this past week.
Oh my God. Oh my. You know what?
You know,
I had to say some stuff and take some stuff back.
Yeah, so I was going to go ahead and ask you your opinion on what transpired this past week, or how you feel about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be your opinion, but
How I feel about it?
mm-hmm.
Matt Gaetz went from being a complete hero to, are you fucking crazy, to the scene in Dumb and Dumber where he totally redeems himself. Like, I feel like I watched that whole thing conspire out like that. Like, he was right in the points he was making in the beginning. He was right. You know what? You know me well enough. If it would have been me up there and he would have pulled me in his office and said, if you want any committees from me, you're going to vote for me. You know what my reply would have been? Excuse the fuck out of me, motherfucker. You know what?
Well,
I'll vote for Obama, bitch. Don't cross me like
that's
that.
exactly what you saw. And if you watched, I'll go ahead and finish your opinion.
And then through the week, I was getting to the point of fear of, dude, you rode the horse long enough. Look, you're just going to have to vote him in and ridicule him. that's option B. Vote him in and ridicule the fuck out of him. That's option B. But no. At midnight, almost midnight, they had a fucking full-on argument on the floor. McCarthy folded and said, okay, I'll agree to your terms. Just let's get this over with. And in the end, Matt Gaetz shined a turd. He really did. I mean, the MAGA movement got something out of this. I don't like saying MAGA movement because really what it is hardcore libertarians more than like constitutionalists, like hardcore. So, I mean, but no, he managed to, and I mean, you know, I've got the interview here.
Well, before you play that interview, I've thought about this a lot, this particular situation. Any of the other subjects that you have up there, I'm just going to be giving a lot of my opinions. I don't have any research on any of those opinions.
Just a couple really big subjects.
But yeah, and that's easy to give my opinion on because I do follow the news. But this particular one I've thought about a whole lot. And yes, I see your point. And your point is valid. It really is. I think, however, what we just witnessed is fucking history.
Oh, absolutely.
What you just witnessed is you witnessed a conservative plan that completely and utterly backfired in his fucking face. And then you saw an American first group, subsect of Republicans.
A fringe minority.
Very small minority.
Yeah.
Use that backfire to their advantage. And I think what you just witnessed is a shift in the Republican Party from a more centrist side to a further right side.
Well, do you remember, and I started some fires on Facebook with this remark this week. I did. Do you remember when the liberal movement first started? And again, that was back in the Zimmerman days. It wasn't the liberal movement wasn't really, that was during the coexist, just before the Zimmerman things began, back when the coexist and the liberal movement started, when Obama got in office and all these people started coming forward with these absolutely insane ideas that started the divide. People were coming forward with demanding a lot of the arguments we start now. They started with arguing about racism all of a sudden, and then they started. But when you talked about it, and you seen Congress people starting to, or House members and coming out and joining riots and coming out into the streets and saying things like, I support your movement. They called them a fringe minority and told us not to be concerned with that fringe minority. They're just keeping a certain populace of the people entertained. Don't worry about it. That's exactly the words they were using on the news back then. That was the kind of language they were using when the liberal movement, which controls and grasps everything from our government to our social media to our entertainment nowadays, when it first began, they said, just a fringe minority. So remember that when we're talking about the what we're seeing with the small group of people in Congress right now. Because that movement, as upset as people are with what's going on in the world, is going to quickly grow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to get to. It is like, now that this small group of people wield such power, you're going to see your traditional hardline conservatives going towards this Freedom Caucus.
Oh, absolutely.
But the thing is, man, is Republicans as a whole, and if you pay attention to the ones that are in this Freedom Caucus, we could pull it up, pictures if you want to, but you look at each member of this Freedom Caucus, and I think there's like 7 or 8 of them that are really in there.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of these guys are fucking young. They're under 40. And they represent a group of Republicans that are fucking sick and tired of Republicans saying we're going to do this and not do that.
Yes.
Because for years, Republicans make promises, and then when it's time to have power and follow through with those promises, they don't. Several podcasts ago, I've mentioned several times that I don't align with Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz. I think they're too far right. But I do think that they have won some points with me. Because 2 of the major things that I want to see change in Congress, they're pushing for.
Oh, yeah.
Term limits and a fucking balanced budget. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go against most modern conservatives. And I'm going to say, if we have to reduce military spending to balance the budget, that's what you fucking do. That's what you do.
Right.
Because a balanced budget is important for financial security of any country. You cannot keep borrowing money or printing money that you don't have.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? When you create a fucking economic system built on debt, you know what I mean? Your only choice is to back that economy up with your military, because that's all you have.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So this whole brand of Republican that are like America first, balanced budget, term limits for congressmen. I mean, he gave up so many concessions.
A single member can call for the removal of the Speaker of the House.
A single member. Now, you still have to get X amount of votes to remove that guy. But that's huge. That's huge. And that's something you could never do with Nancy Pelosi. She ruled like with an iron fist.
Just imagine if Jim Jordan gets mad at McCarthy one afternoon, jumps up in his chair and goes, "Give me that chair and I'll fucking do the job."
He won't, though.
I'm just saying, and just an example.
He won't.
Like you know,
Jim
like
Jordan is he's a good dude, but he's not a member of this Freedom Caucus.
he's a workhorse.
He's a hardline conservative.
Yeah.
He's a conservative. Don't get it fucked up. He's a conservative, and you know, like he follows along. He's a McCarthy guy. He voted for McCarthy on every one of those fucking ballots. Jim Jordan is a fighter. He's a firebrand, but don't get it fucked up. He's a conservative.
Right.
You know, he's not. I wouldn't consider him part of the swamp, but McCarthy definitely is. And that was the best part about it. Matt Gaetz come out and said it. If you're gonna drain the swamp, you don't put an alligator in charge of draining the swamp.
Right.
And you know, Lauren Boebert had a point when she came out and explained exactly why this happened. And if you listen to her interview, I don't know if you have it available. You listen to her interview, and the way she breaks it down is so. And that's the reason why, up until 2 days ago, I was kind of on that line. Like, these motherfuckers need to get in line. Let's elect.
Yeah. But damn it, it was like a
watching the Lauren Boebert interview with Hannity the other day, and dude, she laid it down. She flat out told Hannity that the reason why this happened is because in July, they tried to come to the speaker. They knew that Kevin McCarthy was the next speaker. Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, a lot of them, the Freedom Caucus, came to fucking Kevin McCarthy in July. Here's a list of what we want if you want our vote to be speaker. This was 7 months ago, dude. 7 months ago, Kevin McCarthy told him to get the fuck out of his office and laughed him out of his office and slammed the door in their ass. You know why? You know why that's significant?
Why?
Bring up any Fox News, any right-leaning Newsmax, any right-leaning media from July and bring it up. We were getting 240 fucking seats. We was going to be a red tsunami. Kevin McCarthy wouldn't need these fringe voters to get anything done.
Right.
If we had 240 Republicans, this Freedom Caucus wouldn't fucking matter. They'd be the what was
the fringe minority.
No, on the left.
Oh.
What was it? AOC.
Oh.
The squad.
The squad?
Was it the squad?
But
they'd be the squad.
But the squad has accomplished a lot of shit.
Not really.
The Green New Deal got through, dude.
It didn't, though.
They,
only bits and pieces of it. You know what I mean?
They shuffled it through.
But that's how they do.
They let her do the work.
And that brings up another point as to what they wanted. The Freedom Caucus wanted. That's the third concession that fucking Kevin McCarthy made. Is there are no more. If they pass it, they have to pass it. There are no more omnibus bills. Single issue laws. No more fucking books this fucking tall.
Right.
No more.
Right.
Single issues that they can vote on. Yes, we want this. No, we won't want that.
He goes into all that. Let's watch this clip real quick. And
sure.
This is a Fox News interview with Matt Gaetz talking about what he got out
with
of his
Tucker.
No, it's not with
Okay.
Tucker. This is
Gotcha.
I think it's just Fox Live.
Gotcha.
All right, so this is the first time we're doing this. This is a debut. Here we go. talk for just a minute. I'll be right back.
Gotcha.
And when I get back, we'll fix this.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, it's the first time doing PIP, so we got a few bugs to work out, but it's still cool that we can do this. Slowly getting
Actually,
there.
you might want to pull it up on my phone and see if the sound's coming through.
We are slowly getting there. But yeah, that was the greatest part about that is that the Freedom Caucus is actually gaining some ground because Kevin McCarthy had to give up so many concessions for that. I think that was awesome to see. I don't like seeing the Republican Party as split as it is, but I get it. You know, there are different people being represented by different representatives. And so you're going to get this, especially when you have to give up as many concessions as he had to give up in order to become the speaker.
Absolutely.
He definitely had to give up a lot.
Oh yeah, and you know they almost fist fought over it.
And I don't know how, I don't even know if he's going to be able to get anything really passed
Right.
because he had to give up so much. So it's kind of odd to see how this is going to play out.
All right, now let me check a theory here. No, because that's playing. And I'm not getting any sound.
And I feel fine.
So why am I not getting any sound from this? Oh.
Power to the detriment of the liberty of
There
our
you
citizens.
go.
This is going to give us more staff, more resources, and we're going to get government back on the side of the American people.
There was a tense moment late night Friday night
Yes.
when Congressman Mike Rogers, expected to be the next chairman of House Armed Services,
It's the only way I need to
confronted
fix it.
you. You guys both serve
All
on
right,
the Armed
so
Services
let's-
Committee.
It's
What
a
was
rough
that all
rough
about,
episode
and are you
today.
guys
Let's go
gonna-
back to the beginning of this where we can hear it.
Discussions. I am joined here in studio by Florida Republican Congressman and member of the House Armed Services and Judiciary Committees, Matt Gaetz. Welcome, Congressman. Great to have you.
Good to be with you.
So is it worth it all going 15 rounds to elect a speaker?
Absolutely. We got concessions that really were being rejected as early as Monday when it comes to being able to read legislation 72 hours before its adoption, individual appropriations bills, and ultimately what we negotiated ensures that we will never again have a circumstance like this omnibus spending legislation because bills will have to comport to a single subject. There will be germanity requirements on amendments, and so it's going to be an open process, a transparent process. I'm thrilled at where the House of Representatives is today.
You were quoted as saying the construct of these rules concessions functionally turn the speakership into a ceremonial position. Do you mean that?
Well, Speaker McCarthy is our speaker, and long live the speaker. I look forward to working closely with him, but he did agree, to his great credit, to democratize power to the membership. Oftentimes, these committees that decide what bills come to the floor, what the spending paradigm is, they're controlled just by people loyal to the speaker. Now what we have is a real representation of all of the different viewpoints within our conference. On the Rules Committee, on the Appropriations Committee, we fought hard to get agreements to have conservatives on those committees, to have our budget hawks on appropriations, and I can't wait to see what we're able to do when we unlock the potential of all of our members going forward.
What about the concern that this delayed process weakened him? And to recap, we've got a Democrat in the White House, we've got Democrats running the United States Senate. Don't you need him to be as strong as possible?
Well, I think the way to have a strong Republican position on a lot of these issues is to...
So that point is exactly what we've been talking about for years. Before we even started this podcast, this is the kind of conversations that we used to have about how donating and doing certain things to get certain committee assignments have always been the norm.
Yeah.
And that is what Donald Trump is talking about when he was talking about the swamp. He's not talking about any one individual. He's talking about that whole process of doing certain things to gain certain committee assignments.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was huge. And even at the beginning of this podcast, where we specifically said 1 or 2 or 3 items that was in the concessions that Kevin McCarthy had to give up. That right there, single appropriations bill, and all the committees are actually represented with different eyes, ears, and opinions that represent the whole of the American population. Instead of just people that are loyal to the speaker, just like you said. You know what I mean? That's great. That's great.
What did you see when this happened? I know you saw this.
Oh yeah, of course.
I know you saw it. I was sitting there watching it live.
There's not
when it
a
happened.
soul in this world that did not know who the fuck is on the other end
No,
of that
I
phone.
seen the DJT on her phone when she was reaching it to him live, sitting right there. Joni was in the bedroom, and I was screaming, "Oh my God, Trump's got the gates right on the floor!" And I could just hear him now. Listen, motherfucker.
You need to get in line.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
He said, "No, sir."
Even with Donald Trump's call, he still didn't vote for Kevin McCarthy.
No.
He voted present. And that's all you really need, but he voted present.
I like a man of conviction. I mean, you know.
And that's the thing. That's the beauty of it. And that was, you know, like I said, I went and followed a whole bunch of these left politicians this past week on Twitter just to see what they were saying. And they are saying that the Republican Party is in shambles. It's complete disarray on that side of the house. Like, it's so bad for the left that they don't even recognize democracy when they actually see it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everything that happened on the left, the past 2 years especially, but 10 years Nancy Pelosi's been in charge. You know, 10 years. And they have only voted on bills that she approved of, and nobody else got a say. I don't care what committee you were on. It didn't fucking matter. She ruled with an iron fist.
I think Donald Trump showed, quite possibly, correct me if I'm wrong, the most gangster fucking example of that's pure fucking He-Man. I have the power. I call Matt Gaetz. You know, like the man can call Congress floor. He has power within the Senate. But he has, like if he gets president again, it's already shown. He gets president again, there's people working with him
But
this time.
yes, I see that point, but you're going a little too far to me. You know, it's not like Donald Trump has everybody
No.
on speed dial. Look who it is. It's one of his staunchest fucking supporters. Of course she has him on fucking, I mean, of course.
Fair enough.
I would say Kevin McCarthy has his phone number too. I would say a lot of the Republicans have his phone number. I don't think there's anything that special about that, except the fact that Donald Trump either called her or she called him, and Donald Trump did not hang up to call Matt Gaetz. He's like, let me talk to that motherfucker. Put the phone up. that to me, that's significant. You know, it's funny.
Do you think he tried to and Matt
But-
Gaetz didn't answer?
No, I mean, I think Matt Gaetz, if he's on the floor, I don't think he has his phone even on, you know, on vibrate. I think it's on silent. I really do think Matt Gaetz is a real good representative for his people. For me, I still think he's a little too far right, but he got some brownie points with me because all the concessions McCarthy had to make are kind of aligned with what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want
Clean government.
I want less power in the federal government, more power to the people in the states. That's what I want. So everything that he got, I'm 100% on board with.
Yeah. No, he didn't ask for anything that I found to be. Now, if I was Jeffries, I would find it to be extremist. But no, he didn't ask for anything that didn't make sense. It's almost as if he read the Constitution.
Oh.
It's almost like he's the only one there that read it.
hope.
I'm excited for the future, though. I'm excited for the votes today. There's the new squads already. They done flipped the script from January 6th. They're having some serious, like. Now we get to ask the questions. You know what I mean? Like, and we get to, you know.
Well, the thing is you're gonna have
So.
the next 3 to 6 months is gonna be dull
Oh yeah.
when it comes to political news. The next 30 days is going to be very newsworthy because you're going to know who's on what committees, who's chairing that committee, who's losing their committee chairs. A lot of the left squad leaders, they're getting kicked out of committees.
Oh yeah.
I hate butchering. I don't care if I like you or dislike you. If you got elected to Senate or elected to House of Representatives, I feel like it's my job as an American citizen to know your name and how to pronounce it right. But this one I can't. Talib.
Yeah.
She's on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and she's a Palestinian
She
supporter.
is,
She hates Israel. Like she hates Jews.
No.
Like
They came out at one point and showed she had, like, if I'm not incorrect, legitimate Hamas ties.
She does.
And
And she posts on Twitter all the time about the oppression of Palestinian people by the Israelis, and
Yeah.
like, so she's losing her seat on the Foreign Affairs Committee for sure.
oh yeah.
Fucking Eric Swalwell will definitely lose his intelligence seat. He doesn't belong on the Intelligence Committee. Him and Feng Feng should not even be in Congress. But there they are. I mean, I don't know where Feng Feng is anymore, but you know.
I don't think we're going to have that boring 6 months you think we're going to have. Do you know why?
You do though, because after they're assigned to their committee assignments, they disappear, they hide. That's when the investigations start. They go into their little committees, and there's nothing really going.
But
you got
They've been.
you're always going to have your talking heads,
Now, wait.
assuming or guessing
Wait.
or. But
Hear me out. This is going to sound crazy. They've been asking questions, begging for witnesses, pleading for the ability to bring forth evidence for 5-6 years, and been told, no, we're not hearing that. We don't need to hear from them. They don't have to answer those questions. They've already got all this shit they want to know. They don't have to investigate. They just have to be able to go, come here, sit down. That's all they need to do. Ray Epps, what shit example? I would jump straight into that pool. They've been begging. Nancy Pelosi, the Intelligence Committee, the FBI, the CIA, and the MOM. Who the fuck is Ray Epps? Why aren't you looking for him? We've got video evidence of this man literally whispering into a dude's ear, and then that dude immediately turns like he said a word that was hypnotized into him, and he turned around and grabbed that fence from that cop. Like, they've been asking about this man for 2 years, and nah, we don't need to. Nah, it's not a big deal. We can't answer that. Now they got the He-Man sword. They have the power. They could come in Tuesday morning and be like, we want you to find Ray Epps, and we want him in here. They've got a lot of, and there's a lot of other things. They've got a lot of shit they want to know. They've been begging to ask and pleading to investigate.
right, but there
They've already got the evidence. Hunter Biden's laptop.
when we are having these conversations, we are having these conversations from your average, everyday American citizen.
Right.
You and I both go to fucking work every day. We pay our bills. We raise our kids. We just want to be left the fuck alone. We're just normal people. There are hundreds of millions of people just like us. And every one of us, all hundreds of millions of us, are completely 100% ignorant to how things work in Washington.
Right.
None of us really understand how shit happens. And I got a basic idea of how things go. And you're going to put Democrats on these committees. And every member of this committee has to have his time.
Mm-hmm.
And every member of that committee has to do the research that they deem fit so that they can fill that time slot. Most cases it might be 5 minutes. Every once in a while they might give 9 minutes. You know, I don't know. But you got to be able to fill your time with certain questions, and this takes time.
Can you imagine getting ringed by Jordan for 15
This
minutes?
takes time. It takes a long time to form these committees and get the questions that you want to ask. And Republicans especially are going to back those questions up with facts, like charts and graphs and whatever. It takes time to do this. Just because the Republicans have a majority, a very slim majority, they have a majority though.
Right.
If there's a 9-member committee, you're going to see 4 Democrats.
Right. Because they're going to do shit fair.
So these things are going to take time because government does not care about your timeline.
Oh, no.
They have no harm going 4 to 5 years on investigation costing hundreds of millions of dollars. And then when those results of that investigation are known, there is nobody held accountable. It's a complete and utter waste of American resources. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with investigating for 5 years and hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm cool with that. But you better arrest somebody. Somebody better go to fucking prison for costing the American taxpayer that much money.
And with that, with the word arrest, let's go into our next subject.
Hillary. No, damn, you can't get that lucky, huh?
Mexico!
Damn. I was like, damn, you brought out some tequila.
Yeah, I'm not drinking that.
Yeah, I know.
That's for special occasions. Dude, have you been watching Mexico?
Yes and no. I know what El Paso looked like on Friday, and I know what it looks like today since President was there. I know that shit looks really clean, and there wasn't a fucking migrant one. I couldn't find one.
You remember when we talked about Tijuana?
Like, they clean this shit up. Whoever they hired to do this shit is a genius. Because, whew, that might be the Wolf. Is it the Wolf? Is that his name?
The
In
Wolf.
Pulp Fiction? In Pulp Fiction,
Yeah,
it's the
the
cleaner
Wolf.
or whatever?
Yeah.
This motherfucker's a genius.
What are their names?
Like,
How many are there?
like how tall they were, how much they weigh. Like,
Do you have any blankets?
this motherfucker, he's a cleaner. I mean, dude, these people, they cleaned the whole city.
Oh gosh.
Like, where did they go? Now, all the migrants went to fucking Houston? Like, where did they go? Like, shit. It was unreal. It was unreal how clean El Paso was this morning.
No, just south of El Paso.
What the fuck, dude?
So,
Like, they literally showed side by side still images from Friday to Sunday, or whenever the president went. I think it was yesterday. He showed up yesterday, I think.
so
But then the best part that you might not have seen on the news is fucking Governor Abbott shaking President Biden's hand. And as soon as he gets done shaking his hand, he gives him a letter. And President Biden takes it and sticks it in his pocket.
you know where President
You know what's on
Biden
that
is
letter?
right now?
Real
What?
quick, before
Oh
we
yes,
start.
I've read it.
You see what was in there?
What?
It's like a $2 billion bill for all this shit.
It was on Twitter last
The
night.
Governor Abbott gave the president a bill. Like,
Why do I not have that here?
It's great. It's great. I mean, it was a letter stating how he's failed and this, that, and the third, but it was a bill.
So
$2 billion. Because the state of Texas is not supposed to be in charge of national security. That shit's great. That's great.
So Donald Trump. This is odd because President Biden finally went to the border. I love puzzles, don't you? President Biden finally goes to the border.
Hold on. Is this one of those puzzles with like 10 big pieces that's real easy to put together? This is not a very small one. Like, it can't be a hard
No, I'm
puzzle.
about to tell you a movie plot.
Okay.
Okay.
This is not a hard puzzle.
No, this is, as to quote William Dafoe in Boondock Saints, This isn't real.
One of my favorite movies.
This is the kind of shit that happens in bad television.
Yeah.
Okay?
100%.
So, okay, here's what happened. We decided we were going to. Did you watch Narcos? If you watch Narcos, this will make a lot of quick sense.
I don't.
We
really
decided
watch TV,
we were going to team up with the Mexican government for the second time. And we're going to arrest El Chapo's son. Do you remember what happened last time we arrested El Chapo's son?
Is this the one where he dug out of the prison or some shit?
No, that was El
actually El
Chapo.
Chapo.
He didn't dig out of that prison. Did you see that tunnel? That was built by a professional crew.
Quickly.
They bought some kind of Tesla hole driller and but anyway, no. No, last time they arrested him, they had him for 48 hours, and the president was like, just let him go. Because when you arrest him, this is what you get. Oh, where's my play button?
It's down below. You gotta shrink it down.
Oh. Yeah, when you arrest him, this is what happens. Wow. Is she okay? Where is the play button?
You need a mouse. This shit happened way better if you had a mouse.
Hey, this was working fine a little bit ago.
Right, but you can click picture in picture.
Oh, that's the problem. There we
Easier
go.
to left click a mouse than it is to.
There we go. She's not going to get it. Oh, I'm going to get a commercial? Really?
A new stimulus program for Americans born after 1957 was just announced.
Oh, can I do that?
Eligible.
Yeah, they do that.
So when you arrest El Chapo, they just come out and literally destroy everything.
Sounds like you got a sick wife, sir.
Yeah, she was. She says.
Cut the little shorts so you can handle that. Go ahead. Let's get to a point where we can if we need to.
But
Yeah, so the whoever the cartel is that he's in charge of shooting the city up. Which is the
oh
same thing
yeah, yeah,
did.
they killed 29 agents, American and Mexican agents, innocent people. Dude, where do you start seeing the videos of all the cars on the way, man? Like, as soon as they arrested him, all these cars come out. This is not far from the border, man. Remember
I
when-
mean, Mexico City's not far. But
And the
it's far
worst
enough.
part is we've destabilized the zone. By that I
With
mean,
all the migrants coming through there.
no, it's not that. You remember when we had the episode just with audio where I was talking about how when the big cartel gets weak,
Sí. Confirmado. Ahí está el helicóptero de la GN con la bandera. Ah, la torre, aquí va pasando frente a mí. Y los de la fuerza de los de la marina son. Es correcto. Ahí están. A la torre.
Had a polygamous relationship that moved down there, murdered them all, just because they were Americans. The cartel's been at war with each other for years, maybe since El Chapo Sr. got locked up.
Dude.
The cartels are down there are fucking.
This
Like,
plane-
there's even stories of farmers in Texas shooting cartel members because they're crossing over into their property and shit.
There was a plane on the tarmac, had a bunch of bullets ripped through it from a gunfight nearby.
Damn.
Like, full of passengers. Like, they're on the floor screaming. Like, it's something out of bad television. They are shooting up everything.
And you know, if our government wasn't making so much money on the illegal drug trade, then I think we would solve that problem very quickly.
Well, this goes back to the point of the story. So as soon as all this happened, hey, here's a plane, dude. As soon as all this happened, Biden suddenly runs to the border. At the same time, I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter, but Trump did a speech almost simultaneously, oddly enough, about how the drug cartels are shipping this poison in, and when he's back in office, he's going to use the full arm of military strength and the intelligence services to remove the cartel threats. You know where Biden is right now?
Back home in Delaware.
Mexico. He's visiting with the
Mexico City.
Mexican president
Yeah,
today.
yeah. About fentanyl, something like
The
that.
same calls. Dude, we're about to go to war with the cartels in Mexico. And if we extradite the Chapo's son to the United States,
in Mexico City. At the same time, President Biden is in Mexico City as the president. Doesn't that make him a target? Wouldn't he be outside of security?
if we extradite him to the United States, we'll have terrorism. Full on terrorism. They will, dude. They don't. They're the reason they let him go last time is because they just started shooting up citizens.
Right, but
They would just shred a grocery store parking lot.
We have assassinated and we have extradited many people long before El Chapo.
Right.
And is he still in American prison?
I think he walked out. Is he still there or not?
If you get sent to American prison, you ain't walking out.
I know.
This ain't Mexico,
That
bro.
dude just walked into the shower and vanished.
Right,
Did
that's
you
not
see the
happening.
video?
Either he's dead or he's still in prison. Because American prisons, they don't play. You don't get too many escape stories from American prisons.
No, you don't.
If you do, they're super dramatic and well planned out. And it always involves someone on the inside.
Yeah, dude.
But
But
I mean, I don't see how you can extradite him to the U.S. without an actual charge against, like U.S. You know, I mean, so I guess they could make
shipping
one up.
drugs across the border.
There's no proof that they came from him. There's just proof that because it's Chinese fentanyl. That's not getting fucked up.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Really,
Sí. Confirmado. Ahí está el helicóptero de la GN con la bandera. Ah, la torre. Aquí va pasando.
Not. I'm just the middleman.
Right.
You know what I mean? El
Right.
Chapo's just the middleman. He's not. It's probably being shipped to him in Chinese fucking shipping.
Whatever
And
has
he's not even touching it.
What-
He's just turning around and shipping it out.
whatever's happened, there's enough there for the DEA or whoever, whatever U.S. group was there to do dude, 20, like what was it, 29 U.S. and Mexican agents were killed. So we already had agents down there
That's
working on getting him.
That doesn't.
So they've already got, if we've already sent agents across the border to do an investigation and get enough information to actually go try to pick this motherfucker up, they've already got a reason, excuse my French, they've already got a reason to bring him back across the border. They've already agreed to extradition. After what happened last time, I'm sure extradition was like the only option. Like I said,
That's what I'm
last time they just shut. He's not in the country. I can't let him go because they're going to extradite him to the U.S. And when they do, it's going to get ugly up here, and that's why Biden is all of a sudden concerned about the border because he knows As soon as they extradite that man to the U.S., you're going to have cartels pulling Toyotas up across the river with saws that Eric Holder sold them and just spraying them at border
that's
guards.
what I was trying to get to the last time. Like when we've already had this conversation. The cartel, they're badass against Mexican authorities. They ain't shit. They ain't shit.
True.
Compared to most American law enforcement. Dude, you take the city of Houston, which is one of the major cities you got to come through if you planning on trying to assault anything. This cartel is not that organized. That they might have a lot of firepower, they have a lot of money, but
They
they're
don't know
not
that.
organized. They have never, and we, like I said, we have assassinated and we have extradited so many cartel leaders, and none of them. The only way they ever strike back is they kill American citizens in Mexico. That's the only thing they can do. They can't get across this border and get anything of any value. You know what I mean? You're not going to cross the border. But you're not going to cross the border and get an immediate response from the United States military. You're probably going to get the county sheriff, who's already got more firepower than you. The local county sheriff is going to have more than the cartel. Yes, the cartel has guns. This is America. This is America.
It is.
I guarantee you Kanawha County has a grenade launcher. Why? I just fucking know they do. Like, what?
I don't think they do.
I think the local counties are just way more armed than you think they are.
I think if you need anything above a semi-automatic AR-15 and some really good, strong tear gas, you're going to have to call the National Guard.
No, sir. That's incorrect.
I don't know.
I do know.
I don't know.
I do know because I've actually met 2 members who are no longer active, but the Kanawha County SWAT team is ready. They're ready, and they're armed to the teeth. We're talking about some diehard shit. Like they could scale down the side of BB&T and smash through the window and rescue the like for real. These motherfuckers are about it.
But do they have assaults?
They are very well armed.
Okay.
I don't know what they have. But
because I'm saying,
you know,
look,
I just think that your
when
local.
when
Before
a
we get
dump
off
truck,
subject, though, I don't want to get too far off.
No, when a dump truck with 13 guys in the back packing a bunch of fully automatic M16s, like military grade weaponry that they bought from Peru and other countries. Some of it's Cold War, but they still got M60s.
They bought it from Eric Holder, bro.
When they pull up,
And they brought it from the Taliban.
When they pull up,
there's plenty over there.
Yeah, when we pull up, when they pull up with 2 trash trucks with a bunch of guys in the back spraying saws, you gotta be ready. Like them boys don't play. They got it's this thing they're fighting. Like you're fighting this is their job, their livelihood, their family, their love, their home. This is like if the
Yeah, and I get all that.
Like,
and as
if they decide they're going to come up here and attack us until we give them their president back, we're going to have a problem.
Well, let's start there.
Until we give them
their leader back. Yes,
yeah.
But let's start there. The one we're talking about is the Sinaloa cartel.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the biggest in Mexico. Okay, he's not the leader of all cartels. The other cartels hate this fucker. He's like, hell yeah, I'm glad he got arrested. You know, usually you chop the head off a snake and the body dies. You know what I mean? But somebody else will rise to power in the Sinaloa cartel. That person may or may not be very smart. And they may end up doing something stupid to cause the collapse of said cartel. But here's the thing. There's nothing that you can find that I could find. I have looked in the past. I haven't looked recently. But the story that you just brought up, in addition to some of the things that I've seen in the past, there's nothing that says that Guzman, or El Chapo's son, was the leader of the Sinaloa cartel. Everything just says he's a high-ranking member. You didn't really, I mean, you got him because he's in name, he's a hero to this cartel. he may or may not have risen to that rank based off his merits.
Right. Well, I was
You
watching
know,
videos on Twitter last night of the cars on their way when he got arrested. And I tell you what,
So that just goes to show he was very high ranking, and I don't think he was the leader of that cartel.
I'm just saying,
so
it's
very
like
high ranking though, for sure.
they
Without
pulled
a
up
doubt.
like you want your friends to pull up.
Yeah, absolutely.
If your friends don't pull up like that,
And you know what?
you ain't got friends.
It's exactly situations like this, and you've heard about them your whole life. It's exactly situations like this why the average American citizen does not take the Mexican army police seriously. I still think I could probably commit a murder and disappear in Mexico. I could. They're not organized. They don't have, I mean, I'm not going to say they're inept, because, you know, the last people to invade Mexico was us. You know, and then we took Texas.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's been a few years since anybody's tried them. You know? I'm not gonna say they're inept.
Look, man,
You know,
you don't fuck with little countries.
Right.
Just remember what Japan did
Right.
in
I mean,
World
so-
War II.
yeah. Well, we all know what happened there. You know
I'm just saying, but you see what we had to do?
right.
Like, we had Pearl Harbor. You don't fuck with Japan took China.
Right. But you, yeah, they did. They did. But you know, and as sad as that was, that was like this on the map of casualties. Pearl
Yeah.
Harbor was this.
Yeah.
And then we accomplished that like this. You know,
I don't. You
when
know,
was that? 40s?
I'm a
When they
fan.
dropped the bomb?
Yeah, yeah,
40s?
yeah.
So what we're talking about? 80 years later? 80 years later, like third or fourth generation Japanese people still got 3 eyes. There's some people still negatively
That's
affected
right.
by this shit.
See,
You know what I'm saying?
See.
It's like, fuck around and
I
find
feel,
out.
but see, I see that from a different angle. I feel like, you know, it's a good example of why we shouldn't even have these fucking nuclear weapons.
100%.
Like,
I don't think we need them.
you know what? I feel this
Not at
way
all.
about it. If you're not willing to get on a horse and go stand by the men that are going to fight for whatever you're sending them to fight for,
And that's the problem.
it ain't worth fighting
And
for.
that's what I was
If you
telling you.
ain't willing to sit on a horse and be like, go get them, then you
Because
don't.
we don't go to war anymore over noble causes.
No. We just.
We go to war because your country won't switch to a central bank. Or you have a lot of natural resources that we want to steal slowly over the next 50 years.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's not like literally the story in the Avatar movies. That's us. We're not the cool blue people. No. We're the assholes that are coming to take your fucking tree.
Yeah.
That's us.
Don't get me down that rabbit
I
hole.
fucking hate that. But it is what it is.
It is what
I
it
mean,
is, man.
That's exactly what I was telling you before when I heard that quote about everybody says our U.S. dollar is based on debt, therefore it's backed up by nothing. But that's 100% not true. Our dollar is backed by our military, and you can't fuck around.
No, which is why
Because
it's so bad.
this whole BRICS thing, it's not going to work out very well.
I want to read Michael Francese's book, Mafia States of America, so bad. So I'm going to have to order it off Amazon.
I'm glad you brought that up because
I'm going to have to get that off Amazon.
I was here I've been here every week for like 3 months now, and I remember seeing a copy of 1984 here somewhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I need to borrow that.
Okay.
I lost my copy and I want to read it again.
I got all the Orwell books.
Yeah, I want to read that again. I was looking for it last night in my little bookshelf and I can't find it. I must have loaned it to somebody.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I got
wanna
2
read that
copies of it. I'll just give it to you.
again. Hey, cool, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, 1984, Fahrenheit 451. These are some of my favorite books from my childhood, and it's time to reread some classics.
Yeah. I reread To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird,
Oh.
Where the Red Fern Grows.
Lord of the
That's my
Flies
shit.
is like
Lord
one of
of
my
the
personal
Flies.
favorites.
See, a lot of my books got washed up in my mom and dad's flood.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of my books.
I rebought a
But
bunch of random
the-
books. I got Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, see, that's a good
I
one.
got
My daughter had to read To Kill a Mockingbird in high school. Even with its offensive language that's in the book, I mean, they still make them read it, and I thought that was cool.
I mean, if you've heard our children talk.
Well, I mean, there's racial slurs in To Kill a
That's
Mockingbird,
true.
and
That's
that's
true.
really frowned upon in today's
Well,
society.
you know.
So
It
like,
is,
the fact that they're still reading that book in 2023 is kind of inspiring.
You know,
that our English, our subject of English includes certain pieces of literature that are really important. That, regardless of the racial slurs,
Right.
it's a very important book. Teaches a valuable lesson, I think. But,
I think there's a valuable lesson in understanding this. Watch this. You can't look at history through modern eyes and judgment.
100%. I
You-
say that all the time.
Can't do that. You have to look at history through the way they looked at it in that time.
That's why me and my son-in-law had a conversation one day, and because he's, my daughter's husband, we can have civilized conversations that are about touchy subjects.
Right.
And I brought up the subject that during slave trading days, racism didn't exist. You weren't slaves because of your race. You were slaves because that was how we made money. It wasn't like, oh, you're inferior because you're black. I'm sure some people thought that way,
Right.
but I don't think the term racism didn't exist. So our actions back then couldn't be deemed racist.
Wow.
And it was a deep conversation
That's
between
deep.
me and Reggie. Yeah,
That's
I
deep.
think it produced a lot because he educated me and I educated him, and we saw a lot of middle ground there. And I thought it was cool shit because, my son-in-law, he's blacker than Ace of Spades.
Right.
Like,
well, I mean,
You know what I mean? And he's very vocal, and he has no problem voicing his opinion. And I love that about him.
there's a whole tree of conversations to be had with any conversation.
You just have to be civil. You just have to be civil.
You know, there were white slaves too.
There,
I was
in
reading
the
on that
history
the
of
other day.
mankind, there's been slaves of all colors.
Do you know where the word Slav came from?
No, Yugoslavia.
No. No.
That's a good guess, though, right?
Originally, white people were the original slaves. White people were the original slaves back in the day. Back in
Well, I mean,
the Hebrews,
Irish slaves.
the Irish slaves, so I mean, everybody's been enslaved at some
Everyone of
point
every
in
color has
history.
been enslaved.
And
at
it's
some point in history.
absolutely horrid that any country has a slave market or any kind of slavery existent in it. But you can't demonize one culture and one point in time over the rest of them. You need to understand, if slavery was so bad in America 300 years ago that it affects your feelings 6 generations later, then
Shit.
you need to form a alliance where you make sure globally that slavery doesn't exist anywhere to anybody at all. You go over to Somalia and you tell them, close your slave markets. Dude, you should really be against some human trafficking.
Yeah, for sure. But and I get it. I get it how it can be a touchy subject.
It is a touchy subject,
But at the same
I
time,
just see it opposite to most people.
it's a victim mentality, in my opinion. And I don't know if it's just, I can't say because I'm white, I think a certain way. Because I think that black people that were brought up like me probably think like me. There are many, many millions of black people that have both parents in the home and were raised with traditional religious values that are just like me. You know what I mean? But the thing that gets me the most is that a lot of what you see on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, portrays any race in a bad light.
Oh yeah.
White, black, green, yellow. You don't ever see the good. Every once in a while you do. You see the good on TikTok of good people doing good things, no matter what color they are. And that's where I want to get back to in this country. Because I've never have I ever fucking hated someone because they're black or green or blue or yellow. I hate you because you're an asshole.
You're a dick.
Because you're a fucking dick. Because you treat your server like shit.
Yeah.
I hate you because you earned it. Not because of something you have zero control over. It's not like before you popped out your mom's vagina and you was up there rolling dice with the gods and you're like cracked out. Fuck, guess I'll be black. No. It's not. You're not. It's not like that.
I was driving the cab one day and I had this girl in the back, young black girl, and we were driving past the cleaners there on Lee Street, you know, Gardeners.
Yeah. No, that's West Washington Street you're talking about.
Yeah,
New Way Cleaners on
no,
East End.
No, Gardeners.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's
And
Washington.
they got that big painting of the black gentleman sitting at the bench.
Cool painting, by the way.
Yeah, I love that painting. And this girl says, "Why's that got to be a black guy waiting on the bus bench?" And I was like, "Why wouldn't it be a black guy sitting there? You know, like, well, you know." And she said, "Well, you know, he looks like he's waiting on the bus." I was like, "You know, the only thing I assume when I look at that painting is that he has a British accent."
The only thing I
Like,
see
like,
when I see that
If that man
painting
stands
is that,
up and speaks to me and he doesn't go,
good day.
"Good day," then I'll be shocked. Because have you seen this suit?
See, I
Like, big red fluffy.
Until you just said it, that painting's fucking 5 years old. Until you just said it, I never thought the dude was there waiting on a bus.
Like, yeah. Like, I was like, really?
I mean, I
Is
guess
that where you went?
I
Like,
thought he was in a park eating lunch or something. You know what I mean?
I've never put that much thought into it,
Dude,
except for
I just thought it was
except
cool.
for he looks British.
And the bench. And the bench is painted into the red awning of the dry cleaners,
which is cool.
which is super cool. Until today, I've never thought about it like that. Like, why is this black man waiting on a bus?
When she said that behind me, I was like, "What?" like.
But now it's
Where's the real? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Like
I just try to stay out of it.
Where
and
does
do
this?
me,
Where did this mentality start? Like, I mean, it really just
I
blew
know.
my mind. Like, I've heard every bit of racism that I've really heard in my life. I've heard from Democrats.
But
I shouldn't say that.
And I don't even know, when I hear hate like that, I don't even know what your political affiliation is, because I don't get to know you enough.
I mean, like,
when I hear hate like that, I just I don't assume you're politically Democrat.
When you get on, I mean, overall,
I just
family,
think you're a shitty person.
I come from an old generations of Appalachian. They weren't racist. This is just how people were over the years.
I can't say my individual.
I come from a long line.
My individual ancestors, I don't know them. They might have been some of the most racist motherfuckers
it
out
just
there,
seems like every time I find racist content, something that's truly racist on the internet, it seems to be coming from a Democrat. You know? just a thing.
Yeah, I mean, sure we.
So man, let's get into some local shit.
Yeah, sure.
So, Mayor Goodwin did a speech the other day.
Yeah, State of the City.
The public housing for mental health workers. This needs more explanation to me.
Well,
because I know some mental health workers. Most of the mental health workers that I know are very hardworking people who grew up in poor areas and are trying to highly improve their life and get a career, and improve their entire situation because they don't want to be there. But they do a lot of good for their community that they came from because they work within it.
Right.
I feel like if you're going to give them housing in that area, you're putting them right back where they're trying to get out of. Where's the housing? Like, they didn't really...
They're not going to tell you where the housing is. But let me tell you something that I've noticed, because I live in the city. So, the city of South Charleston has been doing this for years. The city of Charleston just started doing this. So you hear all the time abandoned buildings getting burned down. 9 times out of 10, these abandoned buildings have already been contacted by the city to, hey, fix this shit up or we're going to tear it down. I'm not saying there's anything connected insurance-wise. I would never assume that. But these places get burned down. The city has to risk their firefighters to put the fire out. They expend all these resources. Putting a fire out is a several $1,000s bill that you can get. And if your building is not up to code, then you're not paying taxes on that building. 9 times out of 10, you're falling behind your property taxes. So you're not paying for any of the city services. So by the time they put this fire out, you got a several $1,000s bill coming your way. So what the city of Charleston does, and a lot of smaller cities are doing nowadays, is they're sending you a bill for several $1,000s to put this fire out. Then they're going to send you an estimate from Rodney Loftus or one of these other local demolition companies about how much it's going to cost you to tear down this building. By the time you pay for the fire service and you pay for the demolition, you're $10,000 in the hole that you typically don't have.
Right.
So what do they do? How do you settle that?
You just take the property.
About 3 weeks later, the city of Charleston will send them a contract in there saying, we'll settle this debt right now if you just sign this piece of property over to us. The city of Charleston gets the piece of property. They don't have to pay for the fire services because it's the city. So all they have to do is pay Rodney Loftus to tear down the building. Now they have an empty plot of land. They're building housing on these empty plots of land that they have bought. And so therefore the city of Charleston is now a landlord. So that's some of the public housing that they're going to give for these mental health workers. Now, let me be the one.
So gangster, so mafia-like.
It's fucking great, right? Now, let me tell you the defense of Mayor Goodwin on this one. These housing are only for people who relocate to Charleston from 50 miles away or further. Okay? And they're only for mental health workers that are within 5 years of graduation from their college of choice. So they're young mental health workers from outside the city to help deal with the drug abuse and homelessness and all this other shit. They are coming here with specific purpose to attempt a left-leaning agenda of dealing with homelessness and drug abuse, which is addressing the mental health side of it versus jailing or however you would normally deal with it.
Didn't they take a left-leaning approach in San Francisco?
That's not the point. Not really, because all they're doing is giving out money. They're incentivizing homelessness.
Right.
Whereas providing mental health, it's a known fact.
That's
Justin,
true.
That's
true. It is.
All homeless people are mentally ill or drug addicted, alcoholism, whatever. There's no sober person living on the street standing here with a sign. The sober person who's really homeless is in the shelter. They're going out looking for a job every day. They're using the shelter resources to try to get off the street.
Right.
Those are the ones you don't hear about. The ones that are sleeping under a bridge are mentally ill or addicted to drugs. And I guarantee you that's 99.9% of all homeless. And you can go all across the world. That's just my opinion. I have zero facts to back that up. But I don't think anybody wants to sleep on the streets. You have to be off.
What percentage of the people that are on the streets, though, are so adapted to the life that going back into a housing situation would be difficult?
And yes. But that level of...
We don't have that here probably so much.
That level of involvement would need monitoring by a professional.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there's a way to do it. There's a way to integrate that homeless man back to society. And it starts with a few therapy sessions. Let's figure out what the fuck's wrong with you. What's causing this? It's not about putting them on drugs. You know what anxiety is?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, I know what anxiety is.
What is it? Tell me what it is.
It's a list of things.
No, it's not. The definition of anxiety is a person, or it's the worry from unresolved issues. 99% of all anxiety has something to do with trauma you've experienced in the past. It has nothing to do with what you're experiencing now. And because that anxiety is because of an unresolved issue, guess what follows after that? Depression, because you can't fix it. It's so many years ago that you can't fix it. That causes depression. Anxiety and depression are curable. You don't have to be medicated. You can cure it. It's not something you have to take a medication for the rest of your life.
Well,
so, that's something that this day and age, there's not too many doctors that are going to tell you that.
right.
Because it's all about them getting their money. You gotta get theirs. So, but, yeah, it's unfortunate that we can't fix the problem. We just want to medicate. It's medicate. And to me, that's a problem. But that's where we're at. With Big Pharma, they control a lot of these doctors, and unfortunately, that's how they make their money. If you're a drug dealer, it's hard to make money unless you got someone out there peddling your goods, I guess. So, anyway, looks like we might have to take a pause here because we have a sick family member here today. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Anybody out there? I don't have our comments up, so we don't know who's up, who's not.
Let's go with the guidelines. They change every couple of years. Let's go with that. Okay. Ooh, she's rough today.
Yep.
This happened on Christmas. She'll be okay. I'm sorry about all that.
Oh shit, man. We can
Well, let's
start wrapping it up here. I mean,
we can.
I gotta get my daughter a little early from school today for an appointment anyway, so you know.
But I'm learning to use this, and by next week we'll have this up and running.
Yep.
It was a rough episode this week, but
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it's good.
it's getting better every week.
Yeah.
Or at least once a month, we get a little bit better.
Right. Right. Well, I mean,
I
look,
like to think so.
I can
anyway.
do cool stuff now.
I think I only said fuck like 4 times.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
I at least I'm catching myself.
Right? Yeah. I think we're getting better at this, dude.
This week I'm going to try to learn to be able to like openly scroll Twitter on the screen while we're talking.
Yeah, you need a mouse. Left and right clicking is so much easier with a mouse. I thought I had one, but I didn't bring my book bag. It's in my book bag.
But no. We'll see what goes on this week, and we'll definitely do this again next.
Yep, sure enough. Till next week. I don't think we actually had any viewers today, but hey, you know, check us out. Like,
That's all
share,
right.
subscribe.
It was a learning experience.
Yeah, for sure. Deuces, everybody.
I'm Justin.
I'm John.
It's been the middle of the road.
Deuces.